Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Gary here. I started doing this video about 3 minutes ago, and I didn't have it secured to the top of the device, and it's popped off after 4 minutes and hit the floor. And I was on a good roll, so I'm going to continue with that. Anyway, this episode today, we're going to talk a little bit about Girl Scout cookies. Everyone's been caught. We've all been caught in that web that they cheated. All these little kids. They set up these stands outside of these grocery stores or hardware stores, mostly grocery stores. They have a stand on one side of the entrance, and then if there's another entrance or exit on the other side, which most stores have, they set one up there, and then they spin this web out there, and they get you, you know? I got thinking about this show today because I got a neighbor that lives, he doesn't live in my kind of community, but he lives in the area of town I used to live in Oakley. It was called the name of the town of Cincinnati is called Oakley. It's closer to the city, and he's handicapped. He's a paraplegic, and so I was always, when I lived out that way, I always helped him out. So he gets his groceries delivered, but he couldn't take the groceries in the house because he's in a wheelchair. So I was over there yesterday, and I was moving his groceries in. Now the Amazon Prime guy dropped them off down near his garage, and his garage was under his house. So I'm walking him through his garage, and he's got these shelves in his garage, and it was covered with these boxes of Girl Scout cookies, which made me think about this episode today. And I said to him, I said, "Hey, Nicholas, I didn't know you and your wife got into cookies." "Oh, no, my wife, she feels bad for the kids, and she buys a box or two every year, Gary, And I said, "Yeah, I do the same thing. I usually throw them in the garbage when I get home because I can't eat that shit." And so he was laughing. We were laughing about that. I got thinking about it on the way home. So I got a really good story. I always have good stories, but this one, I mean, all my stories are true. I don't lie about any of this shit. I don't make nothing up. Oh, good English, Gary. I don't make anything up. I've been hanging around these hillbillies too long. That's what it is. So last year before I retired, I was shopping in a different store. I was shopping in a store, but another one of my company stores, right down the street from where I live. And as I was walking across the parking lot, I could see them setting up their stands. In this entrance I was going into, they were setting up their table and taking their cookies out of their boxes. And on the other side, they were doing the same thing. I said, "Oh, I'll catch them on the way out," because I always buy a box or two, sometimes 2 boxes. And I give them away. I don't throw them out. I give away to someone on my street that does eat that stuff. So I go inside, do all my shopping, got all my grocery shopping done. And I'm walking out. I got 2 bags in both hands. And I'm walking out with these carry-out bags of my groceries. And as I'm walking towards the exit, here's this little girl. She's doing this, looking, rubbernecking, and she spots me. And she freezes. And she looks at me. And I'm walking out. She goes, "Hi, sir. How are you today?" I said, "Oh, I'm doing great. How are sales? How are you doing?" And I'm standing there just talking to her. And I'm trying to move away a little bit because I want to find a place to put my bags that weren't in the traffic area. I said, "I'll be right there. Hold on a second, honey." And she's still talking to me. And as she's talking to me, I'm turning my back to go set my bags down on the other side of the curb so they're not in the high traffic area, people walking in and out of the store so they wouldn't run over my groceries. And as I'm turning away from this little girl, up to set my bags down, I hear one of the den mothers. Oh, this den mother was calorically challenged. There was 2 den mothers. And she was huge. And she looked like a Karen. She looked like someone who's just had an attitude. You could tell. Usually women that are huge like that, they're just wound tight because they're just pissed off at the whole world, Especially when they have to get out of the shower and look in the mirror and look at that sloppy mess below. Anyway, so that's another story. So I'm turning my back to set my bags down, and I hear this den mother go, "Oh, nice guy he is. Ignore the girl." And I thought to myself, "Oh, she gone and done it now." So I set the bags down, and I turn around, and I look at the den mother. I said, "Ma'am, now that you so eloquently displayed your opinion of what I was or wasn't going to do with the purchase or not purchase of a cookie, and you displayed such a great how to talk to people, a good role model for the little girls to hear coming out of your mouth of what a great guy I am, turning my back on a little girl to buy a cookie, I'm opening the door for my rebuttal. And she's like, she's giving me one of these. Instead of saying, oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I misunderstood your actions. She's like, give me that fucking shit going on with her. And I said, I was planning on buying, and I'm going to buy 2 boxes from this nice young lady because she was so nice and courteous to greet me and ask me how I was doing today. Sweetheart, I'm doing fine. I'll be with you in a moment. You could help someone else. Let me talk to your den mother. So now I move her off to the side a little bit. She didn't want to move off the side. She wanted to stand her ground right in front of all the kids. I said, okay, what? If it's going to be here, it's going to be here. And I said, since you so eloquently undressed me in front of the kids, I'm going to have my day in court. I was going to set my bags down over there, and I did. As you see, they're out of the traffic. I was going to come back here and buy some cookies, and I'm going to buy them. And you went ahead and made an assumption, a snap judgment that I was a bad person and I was turning my back on a child. I do have a moral compass, ma'am. And I'm going to prove that today by buying some cookies. But you had to be an asshole. And I said it like that so the kids couldn't hear me. Because I don't swear around kids. I just won't do it. I won't do it. I don't want to set a bad example. If someone at home wants to say it, a parent, or some other stranger wants to say it, that's on them. That's their karma. But I think there's something, karma's always watching in life, as you probably know. That's how I believe in. But you can't swear around kids. They're angels. I mean, they're kids, you know. So I said to the lady, you're an asshole, lady. And she goes, like she just never heard that word before. I'm sure, but she has. Because she had an attitude. I said, so, and she didn't say anything. Because she knew she had been caught. So after I called her an asshole, quietly, but she heard me. I said to the little girl, I looked at her name badge, her name was Patty. I said, Patty, which ones would you suggest? What would you recommend? And she goes, well, I like all of them. I said, tell you what, let me look in my wallet, see how much cash I got. You do take cash, right, Patty? Yeah, we'll take whatever you got. We take credit cards too. I said, no, I'm going to pay you cash. So I pulled out a wad of 20s. I had 3 20s at $60. I said, I'll tell you what, pick out 2 boxes of your favorite cookies and we'll call it a day. So she picked out 2 boxes of her favorite cookies. She asked me how much it was. She told me. Gave her some 20. I gave her 2 20s. She goes, well, that's too much. I said, nah, tell you what, keep it. Keep the $20 extra, put it in your piggy bank at home. That's on me. And as I'm walking away, the lady, the den mother, starts following me out like a pit bull into the parking lot. I can hear her going, sir, sir, sir. And I'm walking away. She goes, sir, like that, sir. And now she's following me out in the parking lot. And I turned and there she was. She looked like a fucking buffalo. I mean, she was huge. She had rolls where rolls don't belong on a person, you know, just big old fucking fat, sloppy, disgusting, filthy animal, you know. I said, what's on your mind? She goes, I didn't appreciate you calling me an asshole in front of the girls. I said, they didn't hear me say it, as you know. I covered my mouth. But you're an asshole. And you're a poor example for being a den mother for these children. And you should mind your tongue. And you should be more courteous to people that don't want to buy these cookies that are loaded with diabetes 101. Surely. And I'm just making it, I said to her, surely. And I'm making an assumption right now because I assume things a lot, see. I'm making an assumption in front of you today that what you don't sell today in cookies, you will gladly take home and consume on your own, judging by the size of your body. Right? Right? She clammed up so fast, she didn't know what to say. Well, she goes, well, I don't have to sit here and take that. I said, ma'am, you came at me. You came away from that stand and you came at me. Until you come guns a-blazing and come with something better than just calling me out, get out of my face. Go eat some cookies. Looks like you could use a few more. I think you got a few inches in there on that skirt of yours. You could jam them in there. You're no gentleman. I said, you don't even know me, lady. You don't even know me. So go on back there and take care of your kids. She walked away. And the whole time she's like, and I'm walking back. Why? So I'm walking back to my car with my groceries. And as I open the trunk of my car and I put them in there, and this lady walks up behind me and she said, well, yeah, you handled that right. And she was like another customer. She goes, I saw the whole thing. The nerve of that lady. I said, well, you know, people just need to be put in place sometimes. I mean, she was wrong. I was right. I'm a customer's always right. I bought some cookies and gave the little girl a $20 tip. You know, we gotta be good examples for children, right? And the lady goes, oh, I agree. And as I was talking to her, she had a couple boxes in her hand. I said, you gonna actually eat those things? She goes, no, I don't eat this stuff. I mean, you look what's in these things. They're good. I mean, I like the peanut butter ones. I don't eat that stuff anymore. I just don't. You know, you get to a certain part, you get to a certain part of your life where you look in the mirror and you go, okay, I got a little flab here. I got a little flab here. How am I going to get rid of that shit? Well, you got to start looking at what you eat. Those cookies are diabetes 101. Now we get it written all over it. I think eating 2 or 3 cookies will send your blood pressure up, and you'll have heart palpitations all night, and you'll be sweating profusively, and you're going to call 911 and say, I'm having a heart attack. What'd you do? I ate a sleeve of cookies, Girl Scout cookies. Call 911. Oh, yeah. Things are deadly. Anyway, that's all I got. It's a quick one today. I got things I got to do. I got to go downstairs and clean up my car. Got to shine the tires and get it ready to drive up to Dayton, because that's where we're going tomorrow to get my new car. It's a 2025 car. But I'm not going to miss the repair payments on that Cadillac. I'll miss looking at it because she's pretty, but goddamn, every time I turn her around, like I said in one of my episodes yesterday, every time I sneeze, it's a repair. Not doing it anymore. Anyway, y'all have a fantastic day. What's left of it. Be nice to children. They're our future. And try to avoid cows like Karens. Karens and sloppy, disgusting, filthy animals like that are nasty. They're only nasty because of the way they look, you know, so we got to give them a break. So, all right, you have a great day. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace out.